Moving on. I think that's the best one. Okay. Scene one, take one, moving on.
When I was 20, I started working in hotels, and that was a whole new ball game. I got involved with the wrong people. I used to drink a lot, and then someone offered me cocaine, and that seemed like all my answers had come true. But that started becoming almost daily use. I sustained that for 10 years, working in hotels and living that sort of life.
When I reached 40, well, I was 38 actually, my husband was 40, and one day he just got up and told me that he didn't want me as a wife anymore. But then the loneliness and the shock and feeling useless, feeling I was no good to anybody. I was a failure in my marriage. Just felt so low. The only way I could think of not feeling like that was getting a drink just to brighten me up again. Yeah, I was using alcohol as an anaesthetic. It was an escape for me. I just wanted the bad feelings to go away.
I started with cannabis when I was around 16. Out of boredom, I think, started drinking. And then I took my first Class A when I was 21, 22, something like that. It was just a pill, basically half a pill. And after that, cocaine. Dabbled a little bit with acid, stuff like that. And then I discovered amphetamine, speed.
At the age of 17, I met a partner. This specific partner had a cannabis addiction, and he was very mentally abusive. Throughout that time, I lost a lot of confidence, and I found myself smoking cannabis, not because I liked it, but because I felt like I was trying to mould myself into a person that he liked. And slowly that relationship turned sour to the point where I was being mentally abused. And around about that time is when I discovered heroin. I smoked some heroin, and I liked it. I was a bit sick, but the feeling, apart from the sickness it was giving me, was great. I felt like wrapped up in cotton wool, shall we say.
Slowly, my mental health started deteriorating. I was just lying on the sofa. My parents, they didn't know what to do with me. My dad was even just trying to get me through each day because I was suicidal.
Looking round, I was on my own. And the more I drank, the more I was going to be on my own. My kids didn't want to see me the way I was. They told me, you're not our mum. You're just like a Jekyll and Hyde. I was going into a horrible, horrible, sad drinking. I was a horrible person. I was bitter. I said horrible things. And it's not in my personality to do that. But that's how I became. and I couldn't stop.
I think when you've got demons in your head, which I have, then it's an outlet. You feel like you're going to be this person that you want to be. Which at first it works. You feel great, you feel the life of the party, you feel like people like you. But then it starts going downhill because it's not a solution, it's a problem.
I was convinced that I wouldn't get a habit on it. Because of the pain and the way I was feeling, I carried on smoking every day. I knew what I was letting myself in for. But things gradually got worse. I was injecting intravenously, you know. I'd tell the children I was going to toilet and I'd be in there for half hour trying to inject my drugs. Social services knocked my door. I didn't have any furniture in the house. So without assessing me, they immediately removed my children.
You just get to a point where, what's the point? I got to such a bad stage, and speed as well, sorry, that I tried to commit suicide.
I was forced to go and seek more support for my addiction, and my sole purpose for doing that was to make sure my children came home to me.
Mine was uncontrolled drinking in the end, and I was going to lose everything. I needed help, and I needed it quickly. I needed it. I was desperate. I was desperate to get my life back, to be the good mum, the great grandmother I should be. So I had to do something about it.
My rock bottom was losing my kids. When my children went to my father's, I
just thought, no, I'm better than this, and I've got stuff to live for, and I want my son back, and I want to give him his dad back. I haven't seen him for 6 years.
Moving On in My Recovery is a course that was developed a couple of years ago. Our aim was to give people the information that they needed to assist them in their recovery. Another key point is that the majority of the facilitators have experience of addiction and are in recovery. The content of the course has been led by people in recovery, but then very ably put together by a psychologist who's got a specific interest in addiction. So I think you feel right from session one that it's relevant, it's invigorating, and it's passionate.
I remember first going in and thinking, oh, this is another load of bullshit, you know. I don't want to be here. At the end of the day, I'm just here to get my children back. But they made you want to get involved.
The idea of moving on is to sort of to get people to develop the skills that they need to cope with life or live life on life's terms without sort of drugs or alcohol. So, like I said, how you cope with loss, how you rebuild a reputation, what positive relationships look like.
When you're in early recovery and stuff, you define yourself by your addiction because that's all you have. But with Moving On My Recovery, it was kind of, you have your addiction in one side, but then slowly you start putting boxes and doing other things. That's like a seesaw. And basically, throughout it, you learned that actually, you know, you are so much more than your drug and alcohol addiction.
Rediscovering yourself as well. We have
yeah.
a good session called Being Me.
Yeah.
So for people in recovery, it really is a sense of rediscovering, or maybe discovering for the first time who you really are and what you're going to do with the rest of your life.
Moving On in My Recovery came to me at the right time. And what it focused on was you as a person and how you think about things, how you interpret things, and how you act on things. How to look after myself, how to understand myself.
A lot of people in recovery have an enormous amount of guilt, blame themselves for lots of things, and the whole thing of being able to accept yourself, recognise your thoughts, how your thoughts affect your feelings, and how your feelings affect your behaviour. Once people can start to understand that, they can start to put the past behind them. And that's the other thing about this course. It's not looking at the past, it's looking at the present and then looking at how we can move forward.
It was sort of a new lease of life, a second chance type of thing. And being able to come here every week, going to the recovery groups every week, there was something to look forward instead of just sitting in the house and thinking, oh, where's that drink going to come from?
There's no judgment. You know, I think that's really, really important. People don't feel judged when it's a peer group because we're all in it together and we all do the exercises within Moving On in My Recovery. Although we're facilitators, we participate. So it's a sort of flat hierarchy, if you like. It's not hierarchical in the way it's run.
We're all here for a reason, and that's to get clean. But the difference is we're all doing it together. It's great listening to other people's, way of looking at things. They may have gone through something similar, but something just clicks on your head when they say something. And it just kind of makes sense to things. The way I look at it, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. My jigsaw puzzle was in a cupboard, still in its bag. But now I've got it out, it's on the table, and they're slowly putting it back together. The person that I once was is gone. He's disappeared. The person that I was on drunk on drugs, whatever, he was different to what I am now. So I'm discovering myself day by day.
The great thing about Moving On in My Recovery is that it is written by, to some extent, compiled by, driven by people in recovery who know what they need. People who've been there, people who've experienced bad practice, and they've seen excellent practice. And through the consultation process, all of that good experience was cherry-picked and brought together in one place. That's why I believe in it.
If it wasn't for Moving On in My Recovery, I would not be here today. The reason being is I believe in order to have got myself clean from heroin, I needed to understand why I was doing it. If I didn't come to terms with who I was and understand myself, I believe this problem would have plagued me for a long time, and I would have lost my children. The structure, we were at it 4 days a week, so I felt like I was going to work, which started making me enjoy life a little bit more, and that structure was essential for me because I'm one of these people, if I've got nothing to do in the morning, I won't get up, So this made me get back into things, and I started feeling like that person that I kind of lost along the way.
It's about giving us tools about our addiction, the reasons why we do what we do. But it's also looking at yourself, which is very, very hard, because when you stop drinking, stop using, you have to start connecting again and discovering who you are.
I was looking forward to coming to see my friends and to actually tell them, God, I've done well this week, I've not had a drink. And they were saying the same. And as that got on, it got even better and better. I felt better, my skin was better, my kids were happier, my mum was happier, I was happier, and all the bad feelings were going. And I thought, gosh, live for today, don't look back, go forward.
I couldn't recommend it highly enough. The people that were in my group, they're all the ones that finished the group are all still doing very well, and I don't think they're defined anymore by their addiction, and they're starting to move on in their lives, and yeah, it's absolutely worth doing.
I was worrying then about the group ending, it was starting to get on me, but they offer you so much. After the group's ended, they offer you so much branches to go out onto. It's and they've given you so many tools to help yourself if you do feel like things aren't working, that unless you don't want to, it's impossible not to go forward. If you want it that much, you know, there's so many avenues you can go through, and that's what I like, that it doesn't just end there, you know.
For anybody that is thinking of joining a group like I have in Moving On in My Recovery, I would recommend it 100%. It's a first step, and it'll be fantastic for the rest of your life if you can carry on. And I hope I am a picture of health for you now that shows it can work, and it does work. And my life is well worth living at the moment. I've got everything I wanted, and thanks to Moving On in My Recovery.
This is something that's actually come from lived experience from other people who've already sort of successfully made it to the other side. And I think that just creates a little bit of inspiration, a bit of aspiration amongst the participants, because they know that. And again, like Sarah said, the fact that it's delivered by peers, it just sort of, I think it makes it a little bit more real life, makes it a bit more realistic for people to realise that this is something that they can actually achieve.
Generally, I feel a lot more happier and positive, and can see a way forward, really. It was really excellent to see how people came through the door on their first day, and a lot of them not wanting to say much. But as the course progressed and went on, you could see the people growing and progressing, and yeah, it was a really positive experience.
It was the best programme that I have ever involved myself in. I don't think I'd be here today without them. This programme is suited to everybody because it's not just, you know, general bullshit. It's you looking at yourself and understanding yourself. And if that's not suited to you, then I don't know what is.
I'm going quite emotional about it, but it's just I've made so many good friends where they're not looking at me as a useless drug addict. And I think the thing I like more than anything else is it gives you hope. That's what I like about it.
Right there. You just pick that up and we've got one more little bit. Oh, let's put it down. It's not like cool. One little bit.
One more last bit, yeah.
Okay.
Long story short, for the last 10 years, I've not known what I wanted to do. I'm talking about professional life and personal life. And I want to give back. I now know what I want to do. I would love to be a facilitator, for example, to do this course and see other people grow and change.
There is such a massive world out there that is beyond alcohol and drugs that we don't realise about it. For the rest of my life, I just want to do something that I can be passionate and enjoy and benefit other people, you know, from my experience. Okay.
The future for me, I now run Smart Recovery groups. I am hoping to take a course in facilitating MOMR. I'm expecting another baby, which will be due in November, December, and life is absolutely fantastic. You know, my children are happy, I'm happy within my relationship. I don't see things falling apart unless I close my book and don't talk to anybody. So, yeah, my life's fantastic, and it is thanks to MOMR.
I'm back.
Everybody deserves a chance. And I would like to help somebody, even if it's just one person, just to get their life back on track.
Now you can clap.
Thank you. So what do you want to do with this?
Tap it and say cut.
Cut.
Thank you.
Cut. Thank you. Okay, now.